Today, another 100 miles, most of it straight uphill. Hello again, everyone. I'm Adrian Karsten. As we were driving on the race course today here to the finish line atop of Courchevel, we did so by going over the top of the Col du Galibier, a monument to Tour de France tradition. As we made it through that mountain pass, we realized we could do so only because the French snowplows had been out earlier in the day doing their job. That is pure Tour de France. For a lot of these guys who get up today, they may say, that's enough Tour de France, no more miles for me, because there can come a day when the miles and the weather and all the time in the saddle can get the best of you. First few miles of today's stage 15, that may be the case for some of these cyclists. For a man like Lance Armstrong, well, there really is no man like Lance Armstrong in the yellow jersey, looking as strong as he does. He's in total control of this Tour de France. But yesterday, he pushed it pretty hard. And as John Eustace, former U.S. Pro Cycling champion, is about to tell us, excelling today may mean riding conservatively.
Today is a very dangerous day for Lance Armstrong and the U.S. Postal Service team because it's a pure mountain stage. There's almost no flat road whatsoever. It's the perfect terrain for Marco Pantani and Richard Virenque to continue their attacks with an eye on the podium. What's more, the Team Kelme think that they can do one more great stage and take the team prize away from their arch rivals Banesto. So there'll be attacks all over the place, and it's going to be a very tough job for Armstrong and hopefully Kevin Livingston and Tyler Hamilton to control. Because they have the yellow jersey, they're in great position. But this is their race to lose. They're going to have to be on their toes and very strong.
Looking down from the top of the Col du Galibier in 61 hours, 2 minutes and 33 seconds, Lance Armstrong may be the first one over the summit today. But I can promise you that Jan Ullrich, 4 minutes and 55 seconds, will be close behind. Marco Pantani, time is running out for him with 10 minutes and 13 seconds behind Lance Armstrong, Hamilton, Livingston, and Hincapie. Members of the team John just talked about, on their toes, ready to defend. The map of today's stage 15 is brought to you by Lincoln. There are only 760 miles left in this Tour de France, but today's 108 will be the toughest, 62 miles of climbing. This is the Savoie region of France that used to be within the Italian boundary. From Briançon to Courchevel, there are a total of 5 cols or mountaintops that they will suffer over, but there are 3 that are way off the scale in terms of difficulty. Take a look at the profile. Now, the cyclists know that these climbs will take their breath away, literally. The Col du Galibier, the Col de la Madeleine, and finally up to Courchevel. Lance admitted that yesterday he was worried about the stage. Well, consider the fact that today there are 14 more miles to climb than there were yesterday. Lance Armstrong in the yellow jersey from Austin, Texas. His Tour to lose? He knows that this is usually where the Tour is won or lost. It's been that way since 1903. This is the 2000 Tour de France on ESPN2.
"30 contenders, 3 continents, 1 winner. Lincoln LS. Motor Trend Car of the Year.
On a climb like Alpe d'Huez, probably the Tour de France's most famous climb. It's about a 10-kilometer climb, about 6 miles, and the steepest pitches come at the bottom. They're about 13%, and most of the top professionals have high-end bikes similar to the Mongoose Pro that I ride. Most of the guys going into a climb like Alpe d'Huez, their bikes are 20 pounds or less. The Mongoose Pro is under 19 pounds in my size. That's a spectacular bike for climbing hills.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2000 Tour de France is presented by Lincoln, American Luxury. by WorldCom Generation D and by Mongoose. Go ahead, cross the line. Lance Armstrong, leader of the tour, leader of his team. He's in conversation with Johan Bruneel, Director Sportif of U.S. Postal, who is a pretty tough climber in his own day. As a matter of fact, a couple years ago, we saw Johan go off the side of one of these mountains, get back on his bike, and continue the tour. The kind of toughness has been transferred, obviously. Tomorrow's a rest day and well-deserved when you consider that in 3 or 4 days, the cyclists will climb a total of nearly 37,000 vertical feet. That's the altitude where jets fly. They will climb for a total of 98 miles over mountains that are over the top in terms of difficulty. That's why they call the Tour de France the most difficult event in the world. Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin are standing by where we saw the snow this morning on the Galibier, a breakaway group filled with pure climbers, the Spanish teams of Kelma and Banesto.
Well, we're looking now at the riders on the climb of the Col de Galibier, about 1.5 kilometers from the top. 13 riders getting clear. Pretty much as we expected, Paul. The yellow jersey and all the men around him are sitting some 17 seconds back.
Well, the U.S. Postal Service, Phil, have really picked up the pace in that group behind, and they're chasing down this group, which is now 13 riders strong. I think the most important rider in this group is obviously Jose Maria Jimenez, but Ochoa, the man who was leading the King of the Mountains competition a couple of days ago and lost it to his own teammate Botero yesterday, is also in this group.
Also, we've got Manuel Beltran, 7th and 9 minutes behind, so he could steal a march today. There you can see, though, and you can see how many riders are in that big peloton, and that says enough for itself that they haven't really raced the Galibier, and I don't think we expected them to, did we?
Well, I didn't expect much of a race to happen here, Phil, because the climb afterwards is very difficult indeed. The Col de la Madeleine, although not quite as high as the Galibier, is certainly a much steeper, harder climb.
Well, there's Lance Armstrong. As you can see, they've all got extra clothing on for the climb here up the Col de Galibier, and I don't blame them because temperatures have been just above freezing this morning, warming up slightly now as the riders start this barren climb. The high point of the Tour de France, and there is the peak at 33 kilometers into the race today. But I think reason for them to worry more about the giant Col de la Madeleine, which takes them up to 2,000 meters, some 600 meters below this mountain peak, but a much more difficult climb because of where it's placed on the route.
Well, also in this group, a lot of riders from Banesto. In fact, Garcia Acosta, the man who won a couple of days ago, he is actually in this group as well. They are looking to try and put themselves into a situation where they can try and move forward again in the team classification.
Well, one rider we know has given up today, and he won a stage earlier this year in Tours, and that is Leon van Bon, the champion of Holland. So we're down to 140 now from the 180 who came to the start of Futuroscope. And after the constant attacking, especially yesterday by the Kelme team, who finally were rewarded with that stage win by Botero, Paul, Kelme now up to second in the team race behind Banesto.
Well, a huge fight really between Kelme and Banesto, the two big Spanish teams here. But you can see the junction there just being made, a slight acceleration coming from the Telecom team of Jan Ulrich. Ulrich had said he wanted to attack Armstrong yesterday, but certainly I don't think he really had the legs on the slopes of the Izoard. But he is an aggressive bike rider, and he does want to try and win this Tour de France again. And I think we may well see him attacking on the Madeleine.
Well, not many people would have thought you'd see almost the whole of the peloton of the Tour de France come towards the top of the Col du Galibier, past the Souvenir Henri de Grange, the founder of the Tour de France, in a pack like this. But they've really treated the mountains with respect this year. They started slowly yesterday before they proceeded to tear the field apart. And today, after that long haul yesterday, they have done likewise. But still, 141 kilometers from the finish today.
I would expect a general regrouping here on the descent as well, Phil, because from the top of the Galibier at 2,600 meters, it's an awful long way, around about 50-odd kilometers of descent. So certainly one or two riders drops near the summit of this climb should be able to pull themselves back into the group containing Lance Armstrong. The attack and acceleration now coming from Roberto Conti of Vinny Calderillo.
Well, that should liven affairs up now as they race forward for the King of the Mountains points. Expect to be Richard Virenque on this one because this is the sort of sprint he likes.
His teammate moving up into second place, Pascal Hervé, who actually at the moment seems to be a lot stronger than Richard Virenque on these mountain passes. This acceleration may well be allowed to get off the front. It's Hervé on the far side who accelerates as they get closer to the summit.
Again, Paul, he looks over to see if there's any sign of his teammate, and there isn't. And it's a very strange riding form by Richard Virenque this year, because he seems to have given up now all hope of the King of the Mountains in the Tour de France, and he must concentrate on a reasonably high finish in Paris for him.
Phil, remember, it was Virenque who won the last time a stage finished on Courchevel back in '97. Lance was not here, of course, because he had cancer back then. Tomorrow night on ESPN, the WNBA's best get together for the 4th annual WNBA All-Star Game. Washington's Shamik Holtzclaw and Houston's Cynthia Cooper are among the stars who will take the court at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Back here in France, out on the roads of stage 15, coming off this Or category climb, Pascal Hervé, Santiago Botero, and Roberto Conti go 1, 2, 3. The King of Mountains chase for the polka dot jersey over the Galibier. Jan Ullrich, followed by Lance Armstrong, whose speed on the descent will reach close to 60 miles per hour. We'll be back for more at stage 15 right after this.
Hi, Mary Beth Hoyt here. If you're looking for a great workout, check out the Ab Force. It combines a tried and true workout with modern technology, and it only costs $19.99. Exercise machines like the Torso Track are expensive and can cost over $250. Why spend more when you get a great workout and save money with the Ab Force? Just imagine how great it would be if you had tighter abs and a flatter, firmer stomach. The secret is the inline skate designed for stability, plus the freedom of movement so you can customize your workout. Order now and get the Ab Force for just $19.99. You'll also be eligible to receive a 30-day supply of Ab Accelerator, proven to help you lose weight, a $20 value free. Why spend more money on other machines when you can get the Ab Force for just $19.99? So call the number on the bottom of your screen right now. Here's how to order.
To order U.S. Ab Force for $19.99 plus shipping, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-613-1616. That's 1-800-613-1616. Call now.
Kenny? We're cutting into him.
Stockholm syndrome. Happens with a lot of hostages. They start siding with their captors.
MLS Soccer Saturday. Los Angeles, Tampa Bay. Saturday at 8 on ESPN2.
You've always believed that your dreams would come true. And all of the time, we've been rooting for you. For long years, you put your life on hold. Now this is your chance, friend. Go for the gold. Don't fall. Now that the pressure is on, don't fall. Just keep your energy strong. So follow your star, 'cause you got a friend in Powerball.
On the second monstrous mountain climb of the day, the Col de la Madeleine, 4 men lead stage 15. Among them, the pure climbers of the Spanish teams Banesto and Kelma. Here's Phil and Paul.
On the front there, the Banesto rider is Jose Maria Jimenez. The Kelme rider is Ochoa, the man who won that great stage up to Otakam and led the King of the Mountains competition. He's currently in second place. And Massimiliano Lelli is 124 for Cofidis. And tucked on at the back, the Mapei rider there is Daniele Nardello. But the man who leads the King of the Mountains competition, Phil, is at the moment around about 1.5 minutes behind this group on the road, trying to pull himself up. And in fact, he's probably now only around about 400 meters behind them.
I think so, because that's the kilometer board for him as well. He's veritably sprinting up the climb here as the Union Jack flies above his head. I don't think he's going to get on time with them, but he'll get 5th place on the climb. That's good points. And he will hope that his teammate Javier Ochoa can take out the maximum points at the top. Further back down the climb, this is now the select group of 9 riders containing Lance Armstrong as Pascal Hervé sets the pace for Richard Virenque. On the left is Jan Ullrich, Escartine, Pantani and Morrow are other riders in this breakaway.
Well, you know, looking at those time gaps there, Phil, 56 seconds to Botero, then just inside 2 minutes to the Armstrong-Ullrich group. I can see this whole bike race coming together on the next descent before we come to the final slope up here to Courchevel. These are the 4 leaders, and they're now within 500 meters of the summit of the Col de la Madeleine.
Now, Will Ochoa, number 26, dive for the best points here because he needs to take them, not just for his own progress in the mountains, but to defend the team, his teammate, Santiago Botero, who leads in the King of the Mountains. gathering a little bit of speed up here now as he plans his assault. They'll wait till the last minute.
Well, he will certainly accelerate away. He's second overall in the King of the Mountains competition, a competition which at the moment is being completely dominated by the Spanish Kelme squad. We're not too far away from the summit now, Phil, and they will then be faced with a 30-kilometer descent before the summit, before the slopes of the final climb of the day.
2,000 meters, but 1,995 right now as the black clouds are hovered above. They don't look too good over to the right, but shortly we should see the sun come back as they dive down to the valleys below. Alain Richard, because he has a tremendous number of supporters on the climb, but he's not in this group, I'm afraid, as Ochoa is waiting as long as possible, following the wheel of Jimenez, the Spanish champion there, and Nardello is the rider behind, and Lely. Now the sprint, I think they're getting a bit twitchy here. Ochoa looks as though he's got it under control, but if they can hold it a bit longer, they might have Botero along here as well, but they won't do it. Now, there's the finish line.
Well, there's the finish line there inside 200 meters now. Jose Maria Jimenez, the Banesto rider on the front, looks to me, Phil, as if he's in a great day today, but certainly as they get closer to the line, the acceleration actually comes from Lely first.
Yeah, Lely goes first. Ochoa takes his wheel, and Ochoa, I don't think, is going to have the legs to beat Lely today. So it's Lely, Ochoa, Jimenez, Nardello over the top.
But it is the other member of the Kelme team, Santiago Botero, who won yesterday's stage, who has the polka dot climber's jersey. He's about to take 5th place on La Madeleine and grab another 22 points and keep the jersey in this one-on-one battle with his teammate. You know, after the effort all the cyclists have put in over the last 4 days, it's time to take a day off. While they rest, we will review the first 1,600 miles of the 2000 Tour de France tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. One more major day in the mountains on Tuesday lies ahead. We'll preview that as well. The 2000 Tour de France on ESPN2. Richard Virenque, the 5-time climbers champion, goes over the top, leading Lance Armstrong's group with one more big mountain left in this stage.
Lincoln LS, Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Tonight, they're both vying for division titles, but first they'll have to battle each other. NL batting leader Todd Helton and the Rockies look to outslug Jason Giambi and the A's. And big bat Sammy Sosa looks to light up the scoreboard, but Jermaine Guy and the Royals hope to shut him down in KC. The ultimate road trip rolls on. A's Rockies at 8 on ESPN. Cubs Royals at 8 on ESPN2. Tonight.
That's Pantani in pink, just ahead of Lance Armstrong in yellow, going after his second stage victory in this 2000 Tour de France. But there's another man in pink who's in big trouble.
Jan Ullrich, number 61, the man who is second overall in the standings, is under pressure.
Well, this was not anticipated at all. Ullrich is in trouble here. If the camera swung up, you would find that he's not on the wheels in front. He is in trouble. And Pantani again. I keep on thinking what he said after his first day in the Pyrenees. I am racing for second place, and I think he is.
He certainly is. He knows what he has to do. You know, he's 10 minutes behind in the overall standings, Phil, but he's only 5 minutes behind Jan Ullrich.
Which does the best to prove that he really is racing for second place. On a day when 62 miles of 108 are almost straight uphill, it's a lot of time to make up in a relatively short period of time. Aside from the fact that Lance just will not let him go.
Italian flag waving at Pantani, but there on the far side of the road now, we've got back Ochoa.
That is, in fact, Botero, the leader of the King of the Mountains competition. This bike race is being turned upside down. Lely now, as the road tilts up once more, Phil, is being caught out. He will just have to survive all the way up to the Altiport. On the back wheel of Marco Pantani is Armstrong, followed by Heras, followed by Botero. There are just 2 riders up the road of the Tour de France at the moment in front of this very select group. That is just Jose Maria Jimenez, followed by Daniele Nardello, and then the Pirate and the yellow jersey.
Too many Kelme riders in this breakaway today, but now the polka dot jersey of Botero has got into the group here. He's lifted his pace just that little bit, leaving just 2 riders in front, and this man here now, free. He hopes to get Benesto another stage win. He's got good form, 4 wins this year, including the Tour of Catalonia, which was he won in the overall, and he can also ride a good time trial. So Jimenez here could be riding to a nice overall position as well.
He may well have hit them just at the right time because the gap of Pantani and Armstrong was starting to come down. But in fact, he is now holding it at 30 seconds, and it's stretched out just a little more as Pantani kicks once again, Phil.
Well, Pantani is ever so close to a stage win. This is now the steep approach to the finish line. There's plenty of kilometers to go. There's still possibility that these 4 can get across to the leader. But it looks to me as though Jimenez is riding pretty well.
Jimenez is riding very well. He looked very comfortable. But I tell you one thing, Marco Pantani looks pretty comfortable as well. Heras is swinging off the wheel of Marco Pantani. Armstrong takes a look at him, comes alongside, and in fact Armstrong cannot stay on the wheel of the Pirate. It was Heras who let the gap go, and now Marco Pantani has flown.
But Lance is still in the lead overall. Part of our recap in the race summary brought to you by Festina. The peloton was grouped at the top of the first climb of the day, but then Salvatore Comesso attacked, and a group of 7 riders began to chase. At the top of the second killer climb, 4 riders from the original break were still holding on to a slim lead. Santiago Botero was close behind in 5th position. Now on the climb to Courchevel, Marco Pantani's attack with 10 miles to race has exploded the chasing group except Jimenez, who is ahead of him. Pantani is closing in fast on the finish.
Look at the face on Marco Pantani. He's digging so deep into his reserves, Phil. Every muscle in his body is aching right now, but he knows he's got to keep the tempo going. He knows he has to keep that rhythm and keep himself ticking over, keeping the gears ticking by, and just slowly eating into the advantage of the Spaniard.
And the irony of the day is that Pantani, 13 seconds behind Santiago Botero overall, is going to go over him in the overall classification now.
Well, there it is. The junction is about to be made. You can see Jimenez now is a broken man. Pantani will blow straight by him unless Jimenez can find something else. But this is a very steep part of the course, and he digs deep.
A big effort by Jimenez. Don't bother, because I don't think he's going to get on here. I'm not sure what that banner was for. Was it 4 to go?
It will have been 3 kilometers to go for Marco Pantani. Jimenez is digging deep. He's right on the wheel of the Pirate. They're inside 3,000 meters from the finish line now, Phil.
Well, the spectators are telling me it's 3 kilometers that banner was. And again, Pantani launches an attack.
Well, you know, Jimenez is digging deep. This is a slightly lower part of the course. Armstrong now at 24 seconds. Jan Ullrich 2:39 behind, almost 2 minutes behind Armstrong. Pantani hasn't got rid of the Spaniard yet, and it may well be a big battle between the 2 of them.
Well, it's going to be a near 7-minute lead for Lance Armstrong tonight as he heads up towards the mountain, but Pantani is getting his own back here. This is superb cycling, and I don't know how long Jimenez can keep lifting his pace like this.
Well, he's digging. He's riding on courage now. The gap is slowly increasing, Phil. Meter by meter, Marco Pantani is putting distance between himself and Jose Maria Jimenez, who for a long time must have thought he was going to get the stage victory here. But certainly, barring incident now, it's going to go to this man, number 71, Marco Pantani. Armstrong 25 seconds behind on the road.
And even though Marco is still over 10 minutes down overall, he is still Lance's biggest threat now for the...
30 contenders, 3 continents, 1 winner. Lincoln LS. Motor Trend Car of the Year.
How does Lotrimin AF start killing athletes' foot? On contact. How does it start to relieve the itching? On contact. How does it help stop the burning? On contact. How does it start killing all 3 funguses? On contact. Nothing cures better or faster than Lotrimin AF, the #1 recommendation of doctors. So if you can't wait to feel better, there's nothing like starting the cure on contact. Lotrimin AF, the killer cure.
The Tour de France continues tomorrow at 7:30 on ESPN2.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2000 Tour de France is presented by the official timekeeper of the Tour de France and the USA cycling team. Festina watches. It's about time. By Lincoln, American Luxury. And by Power Bar. Don't talk. Pantani is proving he really is king of the mountains.
On his own now as he heads up towards the finish here in Courchevel. He loves the Alps. It marks the return. It also marked the man who came to the Tour in 1995 and got his first victory in the Alps. And that gave us great pleasure. But I think now this one, his 5th in the Alps, will be the one that he will remember most. A massive crowd now as he races to the line on his own. Look at the face, Paul.
This is unbelievable for Marco Pantani, Phil. There's only around about 100 meters to go. The cars have been taken off and Marco Pantani will be alone in the final 50 meters.
Now, will he give us a 2-arm salute here? Marco isn't going to bother. He's got the line, a wave to the crowd. 5.5 hours for the winner today. Think of the rest. The race now for second place. And it looks like the man who might take second is the man who I think will go on to win the Tour de France. He's had a wonderful journey, but not second. I'm sorry, I forgot all about Jimenez. Jimenez now looking over his shoulder. Will he make it? Yes, he will. He was the man that launched the attack that looked like he'd won the day, but in fact, he's only going to make second because he didn't count on Pantani. So, Jose Maria Jimenez suffering now like he's never suffered before, and he's just about going to hang on. This is a really steep final slope here. Up to the second place, up to the line for second place then. Jimenez takes it, and only just in time, because here comes Lance Armstrong. Again, not interested in a place, thinking only of time. Heras gets third, Armstrong fourth.
Phil, when the day began, we all thought that Lance should and could ride a conservative race today, and that he did. But this unique relationship between himself and Marco Pantani continues. Where will it go into the final mountain stage of the Tour de France? John Eustace has some thoughts.
Politics make strange bedfellows, and so do professional bicycle racers. Marco Pantani and Lance Armstrong have found a natural alliance in this Tour de France. To Pantani go the prestigious stage wings, and to Armstrong the yellow jersey. What's more, by working their teams together, they've been able to profit from the Spanish Civil War between the Kelme and the Banesto in their search for the coveted team prize. But just as in politics, alliances can change. And as Armstrong himself has said, your best friend one day can become your worst enemy the next.
John, ever since Thursday, Lance Armstrong has really toyed with Pantani. But today, Marco was on his own playground. In 5 hours, 34 minutes, and 46 seconds, he bests the man in the yellow jersey. Hamilton, Livingston, Andreu, and Hincapie did their job. They got Lance to the base of the final mountain, and then Armstrong took over. He continues to take over in a total time of 66 hours, 38 minutes, and 9 seconds. He is defending his 99 title. In the battle for the top spot in the team classification, Banesto still leads Kelme, their Spaniard companions. Lance Armstrong in the yellow jersey, the Postal Service, and all the other teams in the Tour take a day off tomorrow, which is why we take our opportunity to recap the first 2 weeks of the Tour de France at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. For John, Phil, and Paul, I'm Adrian Karsten. Coming up next, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.